horses, their shoes, horseshoes dig up the blacktop. Every so often the township has to resurface, and that resurface usually makes for a very bumpy road. So there are English people that feel the Amish should have to buy a license since they help to destroy the roads, but I say they were here first. I don't mind a little bit of bumps. I like hearing horses clip-clop down the road yet. Coming up to Route 340, this is this. Because you're going to see the difference when we get close to the Amish cemetery. Across the field, that little building almost against the trees, that is a free-range chicken house. The Amish put their chicken house on wheels. They pull it out into the meadow. The chickens hunt and peck at their leisure. I don't like free-range chickens because chickens are scavengers. They eat anything. I would rather have a good grain-fed chicken. But then there's people that only like free-range, so I guess to each their own.
So right now, no Amish, they are hunting for their...
They're what?
Right now, Amish are still hunting.
Hunting?
Yeah.
Hunting what?
Hunting like deer, other...
They do hunt. They use rifles to hunt deer, but deer season's over. They're just doing their farm work right now, or their growing season. But you're not seeing many out and about because we're kind of between seasons. If they're not harvesting tobacco, there's not much to harvest right now until the corn is ready. They do pay taxes. They pay the same taxes you and I pay. Property tax, school tax, income tax. In addition to paying our taxes, school taxes, they maintain their one-room schools by themselves. They pay the teacher and they buy the supplies. So they get a double whammy when it comes to school tax, but they would rather have it that way and be in control of what their children. On a rotating basis, it will rotate around to your turn every 10 to 12 months. If it's your turn to have church, you're going to provide the space for the whole congregation, also the noon meal for the whole congregation. Now, they go by church districts. A district can be anything from 20 to 35 families. That means you could have anywhere from 75 people to more than 200 people in your home for church on a Sunday. That's why it's a rotating basis. You don't get overwhelmed. You only have church maybe once a year. But you do provide the noon meal. It's not a big, fancy, hot cooked meal. It's what I call bread and spread. It's usually homemade bread, peanut butter, jelly, apple butter, pickles, cheese, a very, very light lunch. Just enough to sustain them until they get home for their own evening. This is another Mennonite cemetery.
Mennonite.
So I have a question that for their security, Amish people use any guns or how they...
Use what?
They can use any guns for their own protection.
Guns?
Yeah, guns or other weapons.
No, that's what I just said. They use rifles for deer hunting, but not for anything else. They don't use guns. They're non-resistant. They would never turn a weapon on anybody. Even if you were attacking them, they would not put a gun up to you. It's just not what they do. They're non-resistant.
So does the arrow use the arrow or bow?
They use bow and arrow for deer hunting, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Here is a tobacco field they've been working on. I think they're out at the other end right now. I wish we could see them cutting it. It is a hot job harvesting tobacco. This farm has a windmill. You can see that's how they pump their water out of the ground.
Yeah.
They got a tank sitting on end to store the water, and their well is on the highest portion of their ground because they do feed by gravity. They have their own greenhouse. That tells me they raise their own seedlings, of course. Here in the front, they have a little bit of a fruit orchard. They just picked the peaches off this tree here in the front. But look at all the apples on these trees. Oh, yeah, here you go. Look at all the apples. A lot of apples. And over here on the left, they raise exotic organic produce. So they don't dairy farm here anymore, but they raise produce.
What
is it?
Yeah, it's not
It's in our language. We know those produce.
The tan cinder block building here, that is the heartbeat of the farm. That's rough, I gotta tell you. Over here on the right, you see a lot of black roofs, a lot of white buildings. That's the Stolstruce farm. Been in the Stolstruce family for 10 generations. And if you look around right about now, all the property you can see in any direction, north, south, east, west, The Stoltzfus family bought from William Penn's land agent in the 1700s for 5 cents an acre. 5 cents an acre. Property today, you're talking anywhere from $60,000 an acre to more than $100,000 an acre. They're not making any more ground. It's getting very, very valuable. They try to keep their farms in farmland. This farm on the right, he was a dairy farmer. He quit dairy farming. He built this gift shop. He sells Amish crafts, baked goods, canned goods. He sells best soft ice cream, best soft pretzels. Back here in the meadow, he has alpaca. There's a baby alpaca there somewhere. Goats, turkey, peacock, chickens, you name it, it's in that meadow, I think. People can just go back on the porch there where you see people walk. People, when they turn 16, they have a chance to try our English ways before they officially commit to joining the Amish church, if that's what they plan to do. That means that when they turn 16, they start joining youth groups through their church districts. When they're out with that youth group, they can try English things like a fair, a carnival, a movie, an amusement park. They may wear English clothing. Boys, when they turn 16, they get their very own horse and buggy provided by their family. Not necessarily new, but it is their very own. They often trick those out with boom boxes, LED lights on the mud flaps, spinners on the wheels, all kinds of things. Shipped off somewhere for a year and then come home and they join the church. That is not true. It starts at 16. They live at home with their parents. They can live at home with their parents if they join the church, and they can live at home with their parents if they don't join the church. In fact, most Amish young people live with their family until they marry, no matter what age they marry. Over here on the left is a windmill that's actually working. You see the windmill going around. They are using that to pump water. Not too many are using them anymore, but this farm does have a working one. Marriage is also a free choice. You get to choose who you're going to marry.